Hey everyone, this is Chris Blass here for another Screen Time review. Today we will be talking about one of my favorite films of all time. Before I get into this review, I want to let you guys know ahead of time that this will be a spoiler review. So if you haven't watched this film yet, then I recommend you guys to watch it. You've been warned. Prisoner is a thriller crime film that came out in 2013. We have a cast such as Hugh Jackman, Jake Gyllenhaal, Viola Davis, Melissa Leo, Maria Bello, Terrence Howard, Paul Dano, Dylan Minnette, and Zoe Sol. And it was directed by Denis Villeneuve. Sorry if I said his last name wrong, but I have humongous respect for this guy. He's made one of the best films that I've seen, and it was the first film that I really got to see what a director is like behind the camera. He's made films such as Enemy, Blade Runner 2049, and he's recently going to release the upcoming film Dune, which I'm very, very excited to see. Alright, here we go. In the opening scene, it starts off with a very long shot of Keller Dover and his son Ralph Hunton. Now this takes place in November. Now remember that. Which are Hugh Jackman and Dylan Minnette's character.
Lead us not into temptation. Deliver us from evil. For the kingdom, the power, and the glory are yours. Now and forever. Amen.
Meanwhile, Grace Dover, who's played by Maria Bello, is at home with her daughter. They go on to visit Franklin and Nancy Birch for a Thanksgiving dinner, who are played by Viola and Davis and Terrence Howard, which are very well supporting actor in this film. As you see a wide shot of each family, you get to see a little bit of each character's personality. Later on in the scene, you see a van which the two girls notice but are told by their older siblings to not touch the van. After a long day of fun, Keller and Grace came home and noticed that their daughter aren't home with her brother, which got Keller worried, thus having Birch's family realizing that their daughter as well aren't with them. This all came to the reality of both family daughter being kidnapped. The idea came to Ralph believing that the van was gone and thinks that someone was in it, having to do with the situation. This film really got under my skin of how quick this film turned into. Later on, you are introduced to Detective Loki, who's played by Jake Gyllenhaal. He found one of the suspects, who is Alex Jones, who's played by Paul Dano. He caught him in the RV.
Slowly, both hands. Both fucking hands!
After questioning and testing, Alex was pled not guilty and was not the kidnapper, obviously. Loki is doing his best in order to promise the family that both of their daughters will come home. The situation becomes more than he can handle to the point where he gets frustrated. As days goes on, the emotion got to Keller, which he then decided to take matter to his own hands, and find the killer. He still believes that Alex Jones is an innocent, which he then proceeds to kidnap him. He would tell Franklin about what he's doing. Franklin wants Keller to stop, but Keller isn't going to get what he wants. This would bring to one of my top favorite scenes in the film, which had to be the interrogation scene. After Keller is torturing Alex, he then decides to threaten Alex with a hammer in order for him to tell the truth, or else he's going to break his hand. After not saying a word, Keller's emotion erupts, leaving him to break a sink and a broken wall.
Tell me!
Now, what I liked about this part was how you get to see two different sides of each character. One with Keller's anger at Alex for not giving him what he wants, with frustration, and you have Franklin who's fear and worried because he does not know how far Keller's gonna go. As this situation is going on, Keller's wife is in pain. She's taking medication in order for her to rest. As for Nancy, she finds out about what Franklin and Keller are doing and decides to join them, but no physical harm. She believes that it's not good that Keller's doing what Keller's doing. Now, you don't get as much time with Melissa's character, which I was a bit disappointed, to be honest. But other than that, she was actually real good supportive actress in this film. She makes the audience think, like, what is the right choice? What are the best option about this? Now, let's move forward to my second favorite scene, and that is the car scene between Detective Loki and Keller Dover. First of all, Jake Gyllenhaal and Hugh Jackman have an amazing chemistry and are an amazing actor as well. They deliver an intense scene. The emotion that was put in really gave me chills. As Detective Loki is in the car and he noticed that Keller is drinking and asks him to get in the car. Keller shouts out at Loki for not doing his best and that he wants his daughter. As he's shouting Loki and like demanding him to find his daughter, Loki is telling Keller to stay home and take care of his family. As he's talking to Keller, he believes that he's up to something, as we, the audience, know what Keller's doing.
So forgive me for not going home to have a good night's rest. Now why didn't you look for my fucking daughter rather than fucking... Hey.
This would bring us to the other characters involved, and that would be Holly Jones, who is the aunt of Alex Jones. Keller wanted to stop by and apologize for abusing his son and thinking that he kidnapped his daughter after all through that pain and suffering that Alex been. Meanwhile, they transitioned to one of the daughters coming back alive to the hospital, which is Joe Birch, which is the Birch family. She was resting, and next thing you know, she woke up. The first question that Keller asked was, "You were there, and it put tape around my mouth." Keller believes that her daughter might be at Holly Jones, where he was last located. He would then go over to Holly Jones. During the last 30 minutes, Detective Loki thinks that Keller is at the abandoned building where he physically abused Alex. He then goes to the building to see if Keller is still there. But what he doesn't notice is that Keller instead went to Holly's house to see if his daughter is there. When Keller arrives, he was suspicious of her. But then the table has turned. Holly proceeds to have a gun with her and pointed at Keller's head. She confesses that she kidnapped her daughter. She was the one that kidnapped both of their daughters. Reasons for it is because her son died due to cancer, and that she wanted other kids to suffer, making parents feel the blame for it. After telling the truth, Keller that her daughter is unwell under the car and that she could rescue her or see her. But she lied to him and shoot him in the leg, making him die alone in the well. The scene will soon change when Detective Loki arrived at her house. She proceeds to ask her questions like how her son is doing. After asking her several questions to make her seem like she's not the suspect, Loki sees a familiar necklace and a picture of her late husband, of Holly's late husband, which got him to figure out the truth. He immediately gets out the gun, and while he has the gun, Holly has Hannah and proceeds to poison her. Loki and Holly shoot each other, but Loki was the last one standing.
You sure as hell don't want me buried in some box.
Both hands, right now! Right now!
Detective Loki immediately grabs Hannah to the hospital due to Holly poisoning her. And he doesn't want her to die, obviously. Now, what I liked about this particular part, was the camera work. How you get to see Loki's reaction as he's driving. He's looking back at Hannah to see if she is still alive, to see if she's still moving, which she is. And the best part about it is that you get to see how Loki got shot in the eyes as well, due to him driving real quick, more intense, more pasting. After arriving at the hospital, it transitioned to the next scene immediately and shows that Hannah is all better and that Loki is still hurt, but it's calm, he's relaxed, everything is fine. But the one question still remains is when Grace asks Loki if her husband is found due to the situation of him getting shot. But they don't know that yet. They don't know what happened to him. Loki responds with her saying that everything is going to be fine. He's going to do whatever it takes to find her husband. Now, the last 3 minutes of the film shows Detective Loki at Holly's house around the crime scene after the incident. After closing the investigation, after closing everything that happened, you could hear in the background a whistle of where Keller Dover was buried. And it fades to the end credit, leaving the audience to believe if Keller has been saved or has died. Who knows? And that's what I loved about that ending. But Prisoner is my favorite film of all time. And the director did an amazing work. The cast delivered an absolutely amazing performance. The story was spectacular. It's a film that people need to see and think about each character's meaning. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my review. It's been a pleasure reviewing this film. Let me know what you guys thought about this film. And leave a comment for what film I should review next. Take care.